Brian Fenton and Dennis Bastick are paired together at centre field in a Dublin side that looks strong and assertive, from goalkeeper Stephen Cluxton to top of the left Bernard Brogan. Two late changes, both very interesting. Cian O'Sullivan starts at centre back, while Paul Mannion replaces Diarmuid Connolly at full forward. Donegal named Mark Anthony McGinley as their goalkeeper for the third match in a row, with the McGee brothers and Paddy McGrath in the full back line. Carl Lacey is back in his best position at centre back, and many would argue the same is true for Michael Murphy, who's placed at full forward. It's a strong Donegal team with one late change. Martin O'Reilly starts at wing forward instead of Mark McHugh. It's a windy, blustering, bitterly cold day in Croke Park. Interesting statistic for you: Dublin have won the last 20 competitive matches. Donegal have lost their last 4. It's a good ball. Donegal looking a little bit exposed here. Kieran Kilkenny takes the point. The long diagonal ball working perfectly for Dublin. Kilkenny cutting inside and easily taking a score. Brian Fenton. Kieran Kilkenny. Backfires Dennis Bastick. It's a good ball. Down to Bernard Brogan. Cutting inside. McGee right beside him. Back out first Paddy Andrews, who's operating at full forward. Curling this in, and that is over the bar. Beautiful point. He has scored a goal and 8 points in the league so far. This was a peach of a score. Difficult angle in strong windy conditions. Dennis Bastick. Over first Cian O'Sullivan. Down towards Paul Mannion. Getting away from the challenge. Flicking it back. There's a chance here, and it is a beauty. Dean Rock with his second point of the match. Very enterprising football out of Dublin, but the finish was really perfect. Paul Mannion did the hard work. By gosh, Dean Rock supplied the finish. Right now there are 3 footballers in the other half of the field. Bernard Brogan, Paddy McGrath, who's marking him, and the Donegal keeper Mark Anthony McGinley. Now comes counter-attack, but it's a terrible ball again from Dennis Bastick. That's the second one that's gone astray, unfortunately for him. And it puts the pressure on the Dubs. And for that foul on Martin McElhenney, it's a free in for Donegal. Top scorer in the league for Donegal is this man, Michael Murphy, with a goal and 30 points. The exact same tally, by the way, that the top scorer for Dublin, Dean Rock has. Dean Rock has already scored twice in this match. Here's Michael Murphy against the brace. That is a superb effort. Really good point by Michael Murphy. He kicked this one inch perfect, aiming for the far over post and curling it in. Dennis Bastick. Pass inside for Paul Flynn was half blocked, but Kieran Kilkenny comes through onto the left boot and over the bar. Good play, Dublin. Scored 3 points in the journey to this league semi-final. He's now scored twice here in Croke Park. Kieran Kilkenny. Apart from the Dublin backs going forward, you have to admire the work rate of the Dublin forwards when they don't have possession. They really do a lot of crafting, a lot of hard work, putting the pressure on the opposing defenders. Like Ryan McHugh, skips by, gets the support of Frank McGlynn, spotting Kieran Gillespie available. Last man in the firing line is Martin McElhenney, and that's a really good point by Donegal. Worked all the way up from their own full back line. First from play for Donegal after 23 minutes of play. Paul Flynn knocking it down for Dennis Bastick, who spots Paul Mannion. Paul Flynn has gone forward, but it's a great crossfield ball. Bernard Brogan, here comes the goal, great block down, and Donegal survive momentarily. Paul Mannion couldn't pick it up initially and cleanly. This was the best goal-scoring opportunity. Kavanagh, make a great goalkeeper, so Donegal survive. Dean Rock, man on form. laying it back, and that is a beautiful point. Paddy Andrews scoring his second point. It gives you an idea, if you look down at Hill 16, how few players are down there, keeping Stephen Cluxton company. Michael Murphy, Ryan McHugh. Perhaps this could turn out to be advantage Donegal. Still McHugh laying it off. It's a chance for Paddy McBrearty, and that is gone over the bar. Direct, incisive football from Donegal. Great run by McHugh, and a superb finish by Paddy McBrearty. Second point of the match for him. And it's Dublin going forward. James McCarthy first, Kieran Kilkenny. McCarthy wants it back. Kieran Kilkenny was available. McCarthy turns and curls it between the posts and over the bar. It's impressive, very impressive from Dublin. David burned it very well, combining with James McCarthy. McCarthy finished sublimely. Donegal, with wind advantage in the second half, will have a lot to do. Let's see if they change their tactics, because they probably have to play long ball a little bit more. Brian Fenton, Philly McMahon. So much time on the ball that he can give indications of where he wants his colleagues to run to. He has the ball again. Floating one in to Bernard Brogan. Beautiful. Simplicity in motion. And that's why they are the league and All-Ireland champions. Philly McMahon, the creator, with a simple but beautiful ball, and Bernard Brogan. What a classy forward. Didn't blast it into net, just rolled it past Mark Anthony McGinley. Donegal do the hard work, particularly Leo McClune. Laying it off first, Kieran Gillespie. Gillespie heading towards goals. Need a little bit of help. Paddy McBrearty calls for it. Difficult enough angle. McBrearty is shooting for the point, and that is over the bar. Good score. Not done and dusted yet, Donegal. As McBrearty, difficult angle, he judged it perfectly. Good running off the ball and into a good position for Ryan McHugh. As you can see, they're going for that long ball in the second half. Johnny Cooper gets a touch. It ends up here with Paul Flynn. Stepping by the first challenge, still Paul Flynn. It's the right corner back. It's Philly McMahon. And it's over the bar. Scorer of a goal and 2 points during the league campaign of 7 matches. This is his first in the league semi-final. Dean Rock is unmarked momentarily. Good ball to Paul Mannion, who indicated exactly where he wanted the ball delivered. Jinks left, Jinks right. Goalkeeper Mark Anthony McGinley makes a good save. But it was a sweet ball from Dean Rock. But he got directions from Paul Mannion, who gathered the ball here, cut inside, Jink to the right. Goalkeeper McGinley came off his line. That's a good save. John Small. Kieran Kilkenny, back to Small. Gone forward is Dennis Bastic. Flicking it forward, advantage given. Kieran Kilkenny is John Small, and kicked off the line by Neil McGee, but my word, Dublin were cutting open the Donegal defence, and it's gone over the bar. Advantage given by the referee, and McGee on the goal line, deflecting it over the crossbar. At times it reminds one of a training match where they're able to move the ball, Dublin, from defence to attack with ease. Paul Mannion is at the end of it, swings it around and kicks the ball between the posts. Well, he's clearly out to impress his manager. I have to say, he's doing it. It's his second point of the match. Michael Fitzsimons and Brian Fenton. Fitzsimons has gone forward, so too and available is Paul Flynn. This is Fitzsimons, heading towards the 20. Lays it off. There's Paul Mannion. They're queuing up for the shot of the goalposts, and it's over the bar. Good play, Dublin. Great score, Cormac Costello. A really fine team effort. Came all the way up the field in waves, ending with Costello's point. Colin McFadden. Nothing going right for Donegal. Well won back by Dean Roth. Leads it off by Shane Carty. Bernard Brogan. Christy Toy coming back to mark him. Still Brogan. Getting the 1-2. Lovely stuff out of Brogan. Can he finish? And that is over the bar. Well, well. Bill 16 applaud. But you just got a little signal of what Dublin will be like in the championship when they get everybody back to full fitness. And the referee ends Donegal's agony. It's very impressive. 21 games in a row, the All-Ireland and League champions have now won. But they've qualified for the league final, where they will take on their greatest rivals, Kerry. What should be a most interesting day. Full-time score in Croke Park. Dublin, 1 goal and 20 points. Donegal, 13 points.
Plain sailing for the Dubs. Their impressive record in National Football League continues. The thing about it is, Joe Brawley, people often question the value of the league in the greater scheme of things, but obviously there's no doubt in Jim Gavin's mind just exactly how valuable it is.
Yeah, it was a sobering day for everyone else, you know. It just reminded us of the realities of Championship football now. And, you know, Donegal famously ambushed the Dubs in 2014. And, you know, it was a Jim McGuinness job. Everything was perfect. And, you know, Donegal are so far away from that now. I mean, they were just a mess today. The primary defenders weren't marking. You know, they look so one-dimensional coming forward, solely running out of their own defence endlessly. Of course, Dublin are now sitting with I think, the best sweeper in the country, in Cian O'Sullivan. Perfect positional sense. You know, he's just a person who's in the right place all the time. And, you know, after the Bernard Brogan goal, which would have sent Jim McGuinness to a darkened room for a month. I mean, he had 5-6 metres inside the blanket defence to take the pass and stick it in the net. But after the Bernard Brogan goal, the game was over, because Donegal obviously can't play an expansive game of football. I mean, they're very defensive, and once they went 8 points behind,
yes, of course,
enough, they were in the game for 30 minutes.
Yes, of course they were. But
you know,
he says
a wild lot had to go right to keep them in it.
He says they were a mess, but I mean, here are one of the championship contenders. So what was the problem today?
Well, there's a couple of positive things we say with Donegal. As we said, first half, you know, they kept in the game. There was, at half time, we were thinking, well, that win, there's 5 points in it. Paddy McBrearty was outstanding. Yeah. That's where it ends. There's something that doesn't really add up for me. A team that trains for 4 or 5 months for a league, then you get to a semi-final and you give the team the week off, a planned week off leading up to the semi-final. Now, that doesn't really make sense for me, because when you look at the big teams, Kerry and Dublin, they are taking it seriously. Since 2007, the team, at least one of the teams that has contested the All-Ireland final has been in the league final. So it can't be that much of a poison chalice to get to the league final. Surely players want to play in Croke Park. It's 2 months, 10th of June, I think it is, before Donegal are out again. And I was thinking throughout the league, Donegal, above any other team in Ireland, will want to get to a league final. If only for the practice, if only to keep playing football.
Yeah, sure,
I mean, it's going to be boring for them between now and the 10th of June.
More than
but
that,
they didn't really in the second half. They just fell apart.
But they were humiliated. And they looked disconsolate today going off the pitch, and you don't associate that with Donegal teams. I mean, that was really... It looked like the end of something, didn't it?
Well, let's get some post-match reaction on this one from Croke Park. Marty Morrissey spoke to some of those involved from this afternoon's encounter.
The strength of this team is the sum of its parts, and anybody who we asked out of the start to come into that game performed very well, and we're just happy for the team. They understand that Donegal, that they bring an attacking threat. They've shown that in the early rounds of the National League as well. So, but I'm sure they have one eye on the championship, and we're just happy to get through to a final.
We came down here to give it our best shot, but at the end of the day, Dublin were much better. I think, you know, even at half time, there's a fair strong breeze there. You know, we were probably reasonably happy to be 5 down. At one, you know, it was 9-6 coming up to half time, but to be fair, the goal at the start of the second half, I think Dublin pushed on from that.
We just kicked on in the second half, and we were lucky to get that goal just after half time. We got a few scores after that. the lads that came on were brilliant. They clipped on a few scores, and a few defenders got a few scores as well. So overall, we were very happy.
Look, at the end of the day, the league's over for us now, and we're very much looking forward to championship preparation. And we feel we're fortunate we're not out to the 12th of June, which is the last team out in Ulster. So we've a great 8 weeks now, and we're really looking forward to getting down to a good bit of hard work.
Kerry are a great side, as everyone knows, great traditional county, very skillful football team, hard-working football team as well. And we're just looking forward to the challenge. It's going to be a great challenge for us leading into the championship.
You're in the league final. You're going to be taking on the greatest challenger of all, of course, to Dublin's superiority. That's Kerry. Your attitude is always, we'll take one game at a time.
Yeah, and we had to take that approach in Division 1 because it is so competitive, and you know, the reality is there is only a kick of a ball between those teams, Division 1 and Division 2, and we'll just go through that same process. It is Kerry. We understand the threats to have, the starting 15 and the stars that can come in off the bench. So they're a quality side, but most of our work now over the next 2 weeks will be on our preparations, and again, just trying to be the best we can be in 2 weeks' time.
Charles Burns, as you were saying a moment ago, it's not as though Donegal had a horrific start to the day or anything like that. The scores were very tight through the opening period of the game, but then this drift came into it, and from there on you could see that Dublin were in control of the thing.
Yeah, I've picked out a couple of examples here. You know, whenever you have the wind and you're faced with the blank of the fence, I mean, you either run at a team or else you just, you know, whenever you have the skill that Dublin have, you just go for long-range scores. And you could see that Dublin just had that extra wee ability to go for long-range scores. We saw great examples: Paddy Andrews, Kieran Kilkenny, Mannion. I mean, they were all going for it, and that was in the first half when they had the win. In the second half, then you're thinking, well, Donegal are still in touch. They just, you know, always in a game like this, it's delicately balanced at half-time. First couple of scores in the second half are crucial. There's the turning point of the game. Goals win games. We always say. Bernard Brogan, just, you know, you were saying that Jimmy McGuinness had died saying that. I mean, there's no excuse for that.
Come
really.
on.
But a brilliant, a fantastic ball over there by Philly.
And you look at the first half. It exemplifies what has happened. You know, Jim McGuinness obviously had no choice but to be tyrannical. You know, we know he was, you know, that sort of passed into legend, and he had no choice. You can see the slackness now that has permeated the group. I mean, that first half, the examples that Charlie shows of Dublin players 30 metres out kicking the ball over the bar. Whenever Dublin took on Donegal in the 2014 semi-final, they were having to kick points under pressure from outside the 45, and here they are on the 30. The Donegal's primary defenders aren't marking their men. No one knows who's marking anyone. It's chaos. The Dubs are a great side. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
They've married defence and attack now. But Donegal are looking increasingly one-dimensional. And I suppose increasingly, you'd have to say that Jim McGuinness probably got out at the right time, because you know
at the same time, I mean, we have to remind ourselves it's the middle of April. You know, it's not the middle of July.
Well,
okay, for sure, they certainly seem to lack a few ideas.
Michael, it's not like the old days when we came back with pudgy bellies in March or April, and we did 4 weeks of pre-season training. You know, this is a new era. These boys are all super fit. You know, Kerry are training all the time for an All-Ireland. Dublin are training all the time for an All-Ireland. Tyrone are training all the time for an All-Ireland. And Donegal have slowly but surely over the last 2 years. And I suppose, you know, that fear factor, that surprise factor that they brought from 2011 onwards, that has disappeared now, because these top teams, Dublin and Kerry...
You've picked out a couple of examples of this, indeed.
Yeah, well, they've assimilated all these things. They now do that as well, on top of the other qualities that they have, and therefore they've levelled the playing field.
But this is Donegal's lack of ideas, what we've called this from here. They go through... It's all very well playing with so many men behind the ball, but this is them with the wind in the second half. I mean, they're aimless balls in, nobody really there. I mean, and this is not...
Michael Murphy out of midfield by this stage.
Yeah, not like Michael Murphy.